There has been a lot of news that has come in this afternoon. First off, it looks like Damian Lillard will be staying in Portland. Adrian Wojnarowski saying that they are no longer fielding trade calls on Dame. And Dame was linked to Miami. He was linked to Philadelphia. He was linked to some other teams as well. I think Miami really wanted him after they struck out on Bradley Beal, but it does appear, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, that Damian Lillard will be staying in Portland. How does that affect their draft strategy? I tend to think they might look to shop the number 3 pick, or maybe they'll take Scoot, pair him with Damian Lillard. Also, it appears that Kristaps Porzingis might be bound for Boston. Shams Charania tweeting this out just moments ago. Sources, Wizards, Celtics, and Clippers are in strong talks in a trade that would send Kristaps Porzingis to Boston, Marcus Morris and draft compensation to Washington, and Malcolm Brogdon, the sixth man of the year, to Los Angeles. Sides are still working through details and Porzingis' $36 million player option. The deadline for him to opt in is today. This would be an opt-in and trade. So they need Kristaps to opt in to the final year of his deal for this to work. Speaking of trades, we did have a draft trade go down between the NBA champ Denver Nuggets and the Indiana Pacers. Here are those trade details. Pacers receive a 2024 first-round pick and number 40 overall pick this year. The Nuggets get the 29th overall pick late in the first and then an early second-round pick at number 32 overall. So Denver going to have pretty much, back-to-back picks, 29 and 32. A lot of news that we're also going to discuss coming up on today's show. Let's get into even more NBA news and rumors. I am Will Scott. You are watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. We're getting you the latest news and rumors the day before the 2023 NBA Draft. Daniel Greenberg tweeting this out, an interesting development. The Chicago Bulls are fielding calls on most of their roster and have had exploratory trade talks on Zach LaVine, one of the biggest names on the market here, apparently. Zach LaVine potentially going to get traded from Chicago. Taking a look at what he's done the last couple of seasons, this is a great player and would certainly draw a lot of interest if he is indeed on the trade block. 77 games played last year, 24.8 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, 4.2 assists per game. He shot 48.5% from the floor. Taking a look at some possible destinations, I do believe that the New York Knicks are the number one landing spot here for Zach LaVine. If he gets traded, the Knicks do have a plethora of draft picks, not this year, but in future years, that they could potentially give up. The Lakers, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Thunder, other teams to watch here for Zach LaVine. I think it's time for Chicago to blow it up. I look at this roster right now. This team didn't even make the playoffs last season. They were in the play-in, almost took down the eventual Eastern Conference champs Miami Heat in the play-in. But this roster is just nowhere close to contending in the East. I think they got to trade LaVine, maybe trade DeRozan. Apparently they're bringing Vucevic back, which is a little bit of a question mark in my opinion, but I do think you got to blow it up if you're the Chicago Bulls. Where will Zach LaVine play next season? Let me know down in the comments section. Where do you think LaVine will play next? I'm going to say the New York Knicks. I look at some other guys they've been connected with, but I think LaVine probably makes the most sense right now for New York, pairing him up with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. We're going to be live for the 2023 NBA Draft tomorrow. Going to be a lot of fun, going live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 Central, 3 Pacific. You don't want to miss it. We're going to have you covered with every single pick, in-depth analysis. You don't want to miss any of our coverage. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. No commercial breaks. Have you covered with every single pick. Let's shift from LaVine to Damian Lillard. Could he end up in Brooklyn? They have emerged as a possible landing spot here for Dame Lillard. Zach Lowe saying this: I think that the Nets would have a frothy internal debate about whether going all in, and I mean all in, for Dame Lillard is the best move. You pair him with Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson, whatever's left over. I don't know what goes out if it's all picks and young players. I think they would have a real internal debate like this is a smart move, or having pivoted from this era of disaster and accumulated so many picks, can we slow go it a little bit? I think that would be a big internal debate. I think they'd be an instant contender if they can somehow get Damian Lillard without giving up Mikal Bridges and Nick Claxton, pairing those guys together. Damian Lillard is one of the best players in the league still at 32.2 points per game, 7.3 assists per game, 46.3% from the floor, 37% from three last season. How about this for a trade idea here? The Blazers received Dorian Finney-Smith, Joe Harris, Patty Mills, 3 first-round picks. So basically the Nets are giving up the picks that they got in the Kevin Durant trade. The Nets would get Damian Lillard. So they could pull this off without having to give up their young star in Mikal Bridges. Grade the trade. Type A, B, C, D, or F. I think this could be a win-now move. Or not a win-now move for the Blazers, but this could be a win-win deal, with this being a win-now move for the Brooklyn Nets. Because when they trade away KD and Kyrie, I think everyone thought that they were just going to be bad. And if they get Dame Lillard pairing with Bridges, that would be a contender out in the East. So grade the trade. Type A, B, C, D, or F. You can go get some NBA draft hats now. Your favorite team, all on there. Chatsports.com/NBA draft hats. Got the Lakers, got the Knicks, got the Warriors. Every single team. So as your maybe new favorite player going to be putting on the draft hat tomorrow night after he's picked by your team, you can be rocking it very soon as well. Chatsports.com/NBA draft hats. That link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Looks like Brandon Miller's going number 2 overall. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN says that he has solidified himself as the number 2 overall pick. That is the plan for Charlotte to pick him. They feel like he's a better fit alongside LaMelo Ball than Scoot Henderson. Brandon Miller was arguably the best player in college basketball last season at 18.8 points per game, 8.2 rebounds per game, 2.1 assists per game, shot 43% from the field, 38.4% from three-point range. Now, I think Scoot Henderson's the better player, but it didn't make sense for Charlotte to draft Scoot, have him next to LaMelo when they play the same position. Putting Miller at the 3 with LaMelo running the point, that certainly has a lot of potential. Could be an electric combination over there in Charlotte. Here's the projected top 3. I would be stunned if these were not the first 3 picks in this order. Victor Wembanyama obviously going to the Spurs. We've known that for weeks. Brandon Miller, the Alabama star, going to Charlotte, number 2. That appears to be a lock. And then Scoot Henderson, the G League Ignite guard, going number 3. I think he's the second best player in this draft, but he's going number 3. I'm interested to see if teams try to trade up to get him now that we know that Brandon Miller's probably going to be the number 2 pick. But I will say this. Last year, going into draft night, we thought the first 3 picks were solidified. We thought Jabari Smith was going to the Magic at number 1 overall, and Paolo Banchero was going to the Rockets at number 3, with Chet Holmgren going number 2. That didn't happen. Chet was the number 2 pick, but Paolo Banchero went to Orlando at number 1 instead. So things can change. This won't change. But if the Hornets maybe have second thoughts last second about Brandon Miller, they get a trade offer they can't turn down, we'll see what happens. But in all likelihood, the draft really begins at number 4 with the Houston Rockets. The top 3 pretty much solidified. I would probably say the top 4 solidified because I think Amen Thompson's Houston Rocket. Apparently that workout went really well, so I do think that Amen Thompson from Overtime Elite going to the Houston Rockets at number 4. Who should go number 2? Type BM for Brandon Miller or SH for Scoot Henderson down in the comment section. Who should go number 2? Who will go number 2? It's Brandon Miller. Who's the second best player in this class behind Wemby? In my opinion, without a hesitation, it's Scoot Henderson.